What's up, Celtics fans? Today we're diving headfirst into a topic that's been buzzing around Boston like crazy. The offseason is just around the corner, and while we're all hoping to see this squad finish what they started, the front office is already staring down a mountain of tough decisions. The reason? Well, it's called the luxury tax, and the Celtics are about to smash through it like never before. We're talking about a historic, mind-blowing $500 million payroll. That's right, $500 million to keep this team intact. And no matter how you slice it, something's gotta give. Keeping this current core together is going to be close to impossible. Whether the Celtics bring home the championship or fall short, changes are coming. It's the harsh reality of running a franchise in today's NBA. You can't keep everyone when the numbers get this ridiculous. So naturally, all eyes are on who stays and who goes. And amidst all this uncertainty, one name has popped up with a clear message. Al Horford isn't going anywhere if he has a say in it. The veteran big man who's become a beloved figure in Boston has made his intentions crystal clear. According to ESPN's Brian Windhorst, Horford doesn't plan on retiring after the 2024-2025 season. In fact, he wants to re-sign with the Celtics and keep battling in green and white. For a guy approaching 39 years old, that's a bold statement. But if you've been watching Horford play, you know age is just a number for this man. Let's be real, Horford's role has evolved over the years. He's not the same player who once dominated with the Atlanta Hawks, but his impact on his Celtics team remains undeniable. This past season, he proved once again why he's such a valuable piece. Sure, the team had to manage his minutes carefully, giving him rest days and limiting his workload, but when he was on the court, he delivered. Night in and night out, Horford brought stability, leadership, and that veteran presence every contender needs. Statistically, he had a solid year. He averaged 9 points per game, grabbed 6.2 rebounds, dished out a little over 2 assists, and even chipped in with almost a block per game. His shooting remained efficient, knocking down over 42% from the field and 36% from beyond the arc. And keep in mind, he did all this while playing just under 28 minutes per game across 60 appearances. Those are the numbers of a player who knows his role and executes it to perfection. But beyond the box score, Horford's value really shines on the defensive end. All season long, people questioned whether he could still guard on the perimeter, whether his legs had enough left to keep up with the league's younger, faster forwards and centers. And what did he do? He answered those doubts with his play. Game after game, Horford showcased his defensive IQ, his positioning, his timing, all the little things that don't always make the highlight reels but are crucial to winning basketball. He might not be flying through the air for monster blocks, like in his prime, but his ability to read plays, communicate on defense, and make life difficult for opponents has been a huge reason why Boston's defense has remained elite. His leadership isn't just about locker room speeches. It's about leading by example on the floor, making smart decisions, and being the glue guy that holds the team together. As for the current playoff run, Horford's contributions haven't gone unnoticed. Through 8 games, he's been averaging 7.6 points, 6.8 rebounds, nearly 2 assists, and 1.6 blocks per game. Those numbers might not jump off the page, but in the postseason, it's all about impact in key moments. And Horford has delivered when it matters most. Whether it's a timely three-pointer, a crucial defensive stop, or simply providing that calm, veteran presence in high-pressure situations. Now, despite his clear desire to stay and continue wearing the Celtics jersey, the harsh truth is that Boston will have to make some painful choices. The front office knows they can't keep everyone. Trimming the roster, cutting costs, and finding the right balance between staying competitive and managing finances will be the challenge of the offseason. Horford, despite his reasonable contract expectations, could very well be one of the players the team considers moving on from. Not because he's underperforming, but because tough decisions have to be made somewhere. What's interesting is that, according to Windhorst, the Celtics haven't even started serious discussions with player agents about potential roster moves yet. That means everything is still up in the air. No deals are being finalized. No exit meetings have sealed anyone's fate. For now, it's a waiting game. But make no mistake, once the season ends, those conversations will heat up quickly. Horford's situation embodies the classic dilemma for teams at the top of the mountain. How do you balance loyalty, performance, and financial reality? You got a player who has given everything to this franchise, who still produces at a high level in his role, and who wants to continue fighting for a championship. But on the flip side, you're staring down a luxury tax bill that forces you to reconsider every single contract on the books. And while Horford might not command a hefty salary compared to the league's superstars, every dollar counts when you're that deep into the tax. It's not about whether Horford deserves to stay, because based on his contributions, he absolutely does. It's about whether the Celtics can afford to keep him while still making necessary adjustments to the roster. This is where the human side of the business clashes with the cold, hard numbers. Fans see Al Horford as a Celtics warrior, a veteran, leader who has sacrificed for the team, embraced his role, and remained effective. But the front office has to look beyond the sentiment and focus on what's best for the organization's future, both competitively and financially. For now, Horford's message is clear. He's not done yet. He wants to come back and help this team chase another banner and continue contributing in any way he can. Whether that desire aligns with Boston's off-season plans remains to be seen. But if we know anything about Al Horford, it's that you should never count him out. And here's the thing, his case might actually be helped by the very challenges the Celtics are facing. With limited flexibility to add significant talent from outside, keeping a reliable veteran like Horford at a reasonable price could be a smart move. He knows the system, he's beloved by his teammates, and he consistently delivers in the moments that matter. Plus, finding players who can replicate his combination of skill, experience, and leadership is not as easy as it sounds. So, while the future is uncertain and the offseason promises to be full of drama, one thing is for sure, Al Horford is ready to keep wearing green. The ball, as always, is in the Celtics' court. But let's be real for a moment. As much as we'd all love a fairy tale ending where every beloved veteran stays, the NBA just doesn't work that way. When teams are operating with a payroll that balloons into the stratosphere, even the most loyal players find themselves in uncertain territory. It's not always about who you want to keep. Sometimes it's about who you can afford to keep without compromising the bigger picture. And right now, Boston's bigger picture is complicated. You see, this team isn't just expensive, they are historically expensive. A $500 million payroll is something the league has never really seen before at this scale. It's a luxury tax burden that forces every single front office decision to be scrutinized under a microscope. Even minor contracts become major headaches when you're that deep into the tax penalties. So while Horford's contract might seem reasonable in isolation, in context, it adds up to a much bigger financial strain. That's why players like Horford, despite their value, end up on the bubble. Not because of performance issues, but because of the domino effect their contracts trigger within the larger financial structure of the team. For a franchise with championships aspirations, it's a delicate balancing act. Cutting costs without cutting out the heart and soul of the locker room. And make no mistake, Horford is a huge part of that heartbeat. But let's not underestimate the power of timing in all of this. Right now, Boston is laser focused on their playoff run. Conversations about roster changes, about who stays and who goes, are intentionally being pushed to the back burner. Nobody wants to rock the boat mid-playoffs. The priority is winning. Full stop! Only once the season concludes will the front office shift its attention to the tough off-season decisions ahead. And when that moment comes, they'll have to weigh several factors. Horford's age is the most obvious. At 39, no matter how well-conditioned or high IQ a player is, the clock is ticking. Father Time remains undefeated, but Horford's game has always been more about positioning, intelligence, and fundamentals than raw athleticism. That gives him a slight edge in terms of longevity, especially in a reduced role where he's not being asked to carry the load night in and night out. Then there's the chemistry factor. Horford's connection with the team, his mentorship of younger players, his steadying influence during high-pressure moments, these are intangible assets that don't show up in salary cap spreadsheets but are vital to a winning culture. For a team aiming to maintain its status as a perennial contender, losing that kind of leadership could be more damaging than the front office might anticipate. Still, tough calls are inevitable. The Celtics have young bigs in the pipeline, and developing those players requires minutes and opportunities that might be harder to come by if Horford stays in the rotation. Balancing the present with the future is a constant challenge. You can't mortgage the long-term growth of your franchise for short-term comfort, no matter how respected a veteran might be. But here's where Horford's case gets even more interesting. His willingness to accept a team-friendly deal could tilt the scales in his favor. Unlike some veterans who overestimate their market value, Horford seems realistic about where he stands. He's not looking for a massive payday. He wants to compete, contribute, and be part of something special. That mindset aligns perfectly with what Boston needs from its role players moving forward. Moreover, his versatility remains a huge asset. In today's NBA, where floor spacing and defensive switchability are non-negotiable, having a big man who can stretch the floor with reliable three-point shooting and still anchor a defense is invaluable. Horford's ability to slide between power forward and center, to play alongside different lineups without disrupting the team's identity, makes him a Swiss Army knife that coaches love to deploy. There's also a psychological element at play. Here, fans, players, and even front office personnel build emotional connections to certain players. Horford embodies the grit, professionalism, and team-first mentality that Boston prides itself on. Cutting ties with a player like that sends a message, not just to fans, but to the locker room. It says no one is safe, loyalty has its limits, and business comes first. Sometimes that's a necessary message. Other times, it risks undermining the very culture that has driven the team's success. From a fan perspective, losing Horford would sting. He's been part of some of the team's most memorable runs in recent years, consistently stepping up when called upon. Whether it's defending elite bigs, hitting clutch shots, or simply doing the dirty work, Horford has become a symbol of Celtics basketball. Seeing him in another jersey would be jarring, to say the least. However, the business of basketball rarely allows for sentimentality. If the Celtics determine that reallocating Horford's salary towards other areas of need, like bolstering bench depth or adding younger, more athletic bigs, gives them a better shot at sustained success, they'll have to make that move, no matter how unpopular it might be in the short term. The coming off season will test the Celtics front office like never before. Every decision will be magnified. Every roster move will be dissected. Fans will demand accountability, and the pressure to deliver another deep playoff run will not diminish. In that crucible, players like Horford become symbols of larger philosophical questions. Do you value continuity and culture over financial flexibility? Can you afford to keep sentimental favorites when the luxury tax bill is suffocating your cap space? Ultimately, Horford's fate may hinge on variables outside his control. How far the team goes this postseason, how younger players develop, what trade opportunities arise, and how the financial projections shape up once the dust settles. But one thing is certain, Horford's legacy in Boston is secure. Whether he stays for another season or not, he has already etched his name into Celtics history as a consummate professional, a leader, and a warrior on the court. For now, Celtics fans should appreciate every moment they get to see him in green. Because as much as he wants to stay, and as much as we want him to stay, the NBA is a business. And in the business of winning, sometimes even the hardest decisions have to be made. But before we continue, please remember to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest news about the Boston Celtics. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. After dropping the first two games of the Eastern Conference semifinals, the Boston Celtics delivered a resounding response on the road, defeating the New York Knicks 115-93 to stay alive in the NBA playoffs. Playing in the hostile environment of Madison Square Garden, the reigning NBA champions leaned heavily on their perimeter shooting, sinking 23 pointers to dismantle the Knicks and reduce their series deficit. From the opening tip, the Celtics displayed a level of urgency and execution that had been missing in the previous matchups. Their crisp ball movement and off-ball rotations created open looks from beyond the arc, and the team didn't hesitate to capitalize. Every time the Knicks seemed poised to mount a response, Boston countered with clinical shooting and defensive pressure that stifled any momentum. The game's turning point came in the second quarter, where the Celtics exploded offensively and built a double-digit lead that New York never threatened to erase. While the Knicks tried to replicate the comeback magic they showcased in the previous game, when they erased a 20-point deficit, the Celtics weren't willing to let history repeat itself. The visitors maintained a high tempo, took advantage of the Knicks' sloppy execution, and punished every defensive lapse with precise shooting. Despite some moments of improvement from New York in the second half, the gap proved too wide. Their offense lacked rhythm, and their defense struggled to close out on Boston's sharpshooters. The Celtics, by contrast, were relentless, using their energy and depth to control the paint and the perimeter, effectively shutting down any hopes of a Knicks comeback. With this crucial road win, Boston has not only extended the series, but also reignited their championship aspirations. The pressure now shifts back to New York as the Celtics look to carry their newfound momentum into the next showdown. The battle is far from over. Boston made sure of that. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Boston Celtics, please subscribe to our channel and give the video a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.